G'day guys, welcome to today's review of The Mandalorian Season 1. Mandalorian walks into a bar. He's there to collect a bounty, which he does eventually, and takes it back to his ship where he carbon freezes him and takes him to Navarro, which is the planet where the Bounty Hunters Guild is. Here we meet Grief Karga, which is Carl Weathers, and he eventually offers Mando a special bounty where he has to go and meet with the client in person. Mando meets with the client that turns out to be an ex-Imperial officer. He can only give him the age and last seen location of the quarry, which is 50 years of age. Dr. Pershing appears and is adamant that the quarry must be kept alive, for which the client says he will pay more if he's alive. The client then gives Mando a bar of Beskar steel, which was purged from the Mandalorians by the Empire, and he's promised a much larger reward if he returns the quarry alive. From here, Mando goes to the secret underground hideout of the Mandalorians in town, where he meets with the armorer. Mando gives her the bar of Beskar steel, and she turns it into a new shoulder pad for him. And we discover in a flashback that Mando is actually a foundling and was saved by the Mandalorians when he was a child. From here he heads out to the last known location of the quarry, and upon arrival is attacked by blurgs. He's saved from the blurgs by an Ugnaught called Quill, who's played by Nick Nolte, who offers to help him, teaches him to ride the blurgs, and escorts him to the town where the quarry is being held. As they're spying on the town, an IG-11 droid, played by Taika Waititi, arrives and starts shooting up the town, demanding that the quarry be delivered to him. Mando intervenes and they side up together and defeat all the enemies. They make it to the area where the quarry is and find a bassinet. Inside they find a baby Yoda species. IG-11 wants to kill it. Mando shoots IG-11 in the head, puts out his finger, to which the baby Yoda grabs at it from the crib. Mando's walking baby Yoda back to the ship through a rocky valley when they're attacked by 3 bounty hunters. He defeats them and protects baby Yoda. Taking a break at dusk, Mando is repairing his armor and attending to a wound. Baby Yoda gets out of his crib, arm outstretched towards Mando's wound. Mando picks him up and puts him back in the crib. They return to the Razor Crest to discover a sand crawler and Jawas stripping the ship of parts. Mando shoots at them with his disintegration sniper rifle, taking a few out, but the remainder run into the sand crawler and it takes off. Mando runs after the sand crawler, with the baby Yoda crib following in hot pursuit, and attempts to climb up the side to get to the top. Jawas are throwing things at him out the window and trying to shake him loose. Mando makes it to the top, but is blasted by multiple Jawas' stun rays and falls to the ground. The sandcrawler continues off into the distance. Mando returns to inspect the Razor Crest and realizes that it's totally stripped of parts and it's not going anywhere. Mando and Yoda return to Quill for his assistance, and he suggests trading with the Jawas. Initially not happy about having to trade for stolen parts, Mando reluctantly agrees, and Quill, Mando and baby Yoda head out to visit the Jawas. They eventually strike up a trade, for what the Jawas require is an egg, and they take him to the vicinity of where the egg would be. Mando takes baby Yoda with him, while Quill stays at the sandcrawler to what is the cave of a Mudhorn, which the Mando must fight to retrieve the egg. Mando almost dies whilst fighting the Mudhorn, but in the final moments, baby Yoda uses the Force to suspend the beast in the mid-air, enabling Mando to finish it off. Mando retrieves the egg and returns to the Jawas. The Jawas treat the egg like a delicacy and they all tuck in. Mando, Yoda and Quill then return to the Razor Crest with the parts, and Mando tells Quill about what happened with baby Yoda and the Force with the Mudhorn. Quill shows his engineering skills by helping Mando complete repairs overnight. Mando then asks Quill to join him, but he declines. They part ways as Mando departs to deliver his quarry. Mando approaches Navarro and gets a hollow message from Grief Karga to tell him to deliver the quarry directly to the imp client. The Baby Yoda climbs out of his crib and takes a silver ball off a control stick in the cockpit. Mando says it's not a toy and puts it back. Mando lands and heads to the imp client, who gives him a chest full of Beskar steel. Dr. Pershing takes Yoda, and Mando asks what they intend to do with it, to which he's told it's basically none of his business. Mando returns to the armourer at the Mandalorian hideout and gives her all the Beskar steel. She's about to forge him new armour when another Mandalorian comes in to challenge him for dealing with the Imperials, and there's a standoff. With the excess steel from the construction of the armour, the Mando is gifted whistling birds. She also asks him what his sigil is, to which he replies none. He can't use the Mudhorn as it wasn't a legitimate kill, as the Baby Yoda assisted him. Mando goes back to see Grief Karga for more work, who tells him that everyone is jealous of him as he's the only one to have brought in the big prize. Karga also shows him the bar of steel that he got, that he keeps in his top pocket as a commission. He tells him to take a break, but he wants to keep working. Mando takes the next bounty puck, but also asks Grief Karga what they will do with Baby Yoda, to which he's also told it's basically none of his business. Mando goes back to the Razor Crest and is about to take off when he sees the silver ball missing off the control stick. He thinks of Baby Yoda, and then he decides he's going to go back and get him. Mando goes back to the imp hideout and breaks the TT-8LY7 gatekeeper droid. That's right, that's what that doorbell greeting droid eye thingy is, forcing stormtroopers to come out. Mando then blows a hole in a wall and enters, taking stormtroopers out on his way to save Baby Yoda. Mando finds Baby Yoda in a medical bed with Dr. Pershing doing tests on him. Mando spares Dr. Pershing's life as he pleads for it, saying that Baby Yoda's only alive because of him. Mando takes Baby Yoda and fights his way out, using whistling birds to take out 4 stormtroopers at once. Meanwhile, in the bounty hunter bar, every tracking beacon on every bounty hunter is going off, as Mando has gone rogue and the quarry is free again. Mando gets in a firefight with Grief Karga and all the bounty hunters in town, and it looks like that he's cornered. Right then, Mandalorian troops start dropping out of the sky in front of him with jetpacks, blasting a path for him to escape. Grief Karga also sees the tables have turned and makes his exit. The Mandalorian who challenged Mando earlier acknowledges that they have come to help him, as he's one of their creed, and that they'll have to relocate their hideout, but this is the way. Mando returns to the Razor Crest, where Grief Karga is waiting in the loading bay. Mando shoots the carbon freeze start button with his wrist grappling gun, causing a distraction. Karga shoots at Mando and misses. Mando shoots Karga in the chest and he falls off the ship. Mando takes off, acknowledging a flying Mandalorian on the way. Karga wakes up on the ground as the blaster shot hit him right in the Beskar steel in his chest pocket. A peaceful planet of krill farmers, many families and children. The peaceful scene is soon interrupted by a raiding party. We meet Omira and her daughter hiding in the water whilst the raiders steal the farmers' harvest and destroy their farms. We then cut to Mando and Baby Yoda in the cockpit of the Razor Crest approaching the planet. Mando decides this is a good place for them to lay low. They land on the planet and head into the village, where they enter a bar. Mando is suspicious of the rebel shock trooper sitting in the corner. He asks the waitress after her and leaves her with Baby Yoda to feed and look after, as he notices the shock trooper has left. He goes outside to investigate her whereabouts and is ambushed by her as she jumps him, and a struggle ensues, resulting in a standoff. Baby Yoda appears as he's also walked outside. They go back inside and talk. She explains that as a bounty hunter, she thought Mando was after her, and that she is hiding out on that planet, and that she got there first, so Mando agrees to leave. When Mando gets back to the Razor Crest, there are 2 farmers there asking him for help with the raiders. They offer to pay him. He agrees to help them for lodgings and takes the money. He approaches Cara Dune, the rebel shock trooper, played by Gina Carrara, and offers her the money to help. She agrees and they all head to the village. The children of the village are immediately taken with Baby Yoda, as Mando is with Omira. She offers him food and encourages him to let the children play with Baby Yoda. He explains he never takes off his helmet, but does when no one is looking so that he can eat. Mando and Cara do a recon mission on the raiders and discover that they've got an AT-ST, or chicken walker. They return to the village to convince them to leave, but the farmers decide they want to stay and fight. Mando and Cara prepare defences and give the farmers a crash course on gun battling. That night, they draw the raiders and their chicken walker out to the village, where they've set up a trap for the AT-ST. They are successful in defeating the raiders and taking down the chicken walker. Baby Yoda is happy with the kids in the village, and Omira would like him and Mando to stay, but Mando decides he will leave and leave Baby Yoda with her. Cara Dune then stops another bounty hunter who appears and was just about to shoot Baby Yoda. Mando decides it's too dangerous to leave Baby Yoda, and so they farewell Omira, the farmers, and Cara Dune. Mando is flying through space, being chased by and shot at by another bounty hunter. The bounty hunter damages the Razor Crest, but Mando evades him and destroys his ship. The closest port is Mos Eisley, Tatooine. Here he's directed to land at Docking Bay 35. Mando arrives and meets an engineer, Peli Motto, and her pit droids. Mando commissions her to fix the ship, but emphasises no droids. But he'll need to go into town to find work to pay her. He leaves Baby Yoda on the ship. While Mando is walking into town, Baby Yoda comes out of the Razor Crest. Peli picks him up and decides that she'll look after him and charge Mando double when he returns. Mando arrives at the famous Mos Eisley Cantina and asks the droid behind the bar for work. Sitting in the corner is a young rogue, Toro Calican, who offers Mando to sit. Toro explains that he has a puck for the bounty, but he can't do it alone. It's his first job to get into the guild, and will let Mando have the money if he can get the kudos for the quarry. Mando tells him to get some speeder bikes and meet him at Docking Bay 35. Here, Toro sees Baby Yoda with Peli before they head out together into the desert to track down the quarry. They stop on the way and Mando negotiates with some Tusken raiders to allow them passage across their land. They agree for Toro's new binoculars. They come across a wandering Jewback with a dead rider hanging off the stirrups. Mando goes over to investigate while Toro hides behind a dune. He is attacked with sniper fire coming from the mountain. This was a setup by their quarry, Fennec Shand, played by Ming-Na Wen. They hide behind the dune and wait until nightfall. When dark, they ride out together towards the mountain, both firing off flares to blind her sniper attacks. The last one Toro shoots hits the ground, enabling Shand a clear shot at Mando, which takes out his speeder bike. Toro continues forward and fights with Shand. She almost wins until Mando appears and they cuff her. They have their quarry, but only one speeder bike, so Toro stays with the speeder bike and Shand, whilst Mando goes back to get the Jewback. While Mando's away, Shand convinces Toro that he should kill the Mando and take the Baby Yoda prize, as is a wanted Mandalorian who ran off rogue with his quarry. She says she'll help him kill Mando if he lets her free, and he's just about to, and then he shoots her and takes off with the speeder bike. Shand slumps to the ground. When Mando returns, he sees Shand's body and realises what's happened. He rides the Jewback back into town. When he arrives back at Docking Bay 35, Toro is already here and holding Baby Yoda and pointing a blaster at Peli. Toro instructs Peli to handcuff Mando. She sees what he's up to. He throws a flash bomb to distract Toro and then shoots him dead. Mando takes Toro's money and gives it to Peli as thanks and then takes off. Peli gets her pit droids to drop Toro in Beggar's Canyon. The final scene is a pair of boots walking with spur sounds towards the lifeless body of Shand and kneels down to attend to her. The Razor Crest docks in the hangar of a craft. Mando gets out and is greeted by what appears to be an old colleague, Ranzar Malk, played by Mark Boone Jr. Mando searched him out for work, and it's explained to him that they need to use the Razor Crest to spring their colleague out of a prison transport. Mando is then introduced to the rest of the crew to do the job: Mayfeld, which is Bill Burr; Berg, which is Clancy Brown; and Zian, which is Natalia Tenner. There's clear history between Zian and Mando. There's also a droid, Zero, played by Richard Ayoade, which will pilot the ship, as the manoeuvre required to bypass the security on the prison transport will require a droid's piloting skills. They explain the plan, how they will infiltrate the prison ship and break out their partner, and Mando is told that the ship is manned only by droids. Whilst on board, there is some tense banter between the crew, and this is where they discover Baby Yoda. Mayfeld toys with Mando about Baby Yoda, but then without warning, they're thrown around the cabin as the droid pilots the special manoeuvre without warning. They successfully land on top of the prison transport, undetected, and make their way inside. Once inside, they fight past some droids and eventually make it to the control room, where there is a human Republic officer on station. After a tense standoff, Zian kills the officer, but as he dies, he sets off a new Republic tracking beacon, which will send a fleet of starfighters to destroy the target. They then move to get the prisoner they're after from his cell. When they get to the cell, they find that the prisoner inside is Quill, the brother of Zian, who explains as he exits that Mando is the one who is responsible for his initial capture. Berg shoves Mando into Quill's cell and they shut the door. Back on the Razor Crest, Zero's been searching the ship's memory bank for info and finds a message from Greef Karga about the quarry, being Baby Yoda. He informs the crew and tells them they have 10 minutes to get out before the Republic ships arrive and blow the transport up. Mando is stuck in the cell and sees a droid walk past. He shoots it through the air hole in the door with his grappling gun and pulls the droid's arm off, and then shoots it. He uses the computer key in the droid's arm to unlock the door and free himself. He then makes his way back to the control room, where he locks down the facility, trapping the crew and splitting them up. In the Razor Crest, Baby Yoda is playing cat and mouse with Zero, who is hunting him through the ship. Mando hunts down and takes out the crew one at a time until he reaches Quill, as he's just about to board the Razor Crest and escape. Quill convinces Mando to complete the mission of getting him out and get paid, assuming that the others are dead. Mando boards the ship just as Zero is about to take out Baby Yoda, and Mando shoots the droid. Mando drops Quill back off at the hangar with Ranzar and gets paid. As the Razor Crest departs, Ranzar orders a cannon to blow up his ship. Quill hears a sound and discovers that Mando has planted the Republic tracking beacon on him, and 3 new Republic X-Wings appear out of hyperspace and target the platform. The 3 X-Wing pilots are played by 3 of the directors, Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and Rick Famuyiwa. As Mando gives Baby Yoda the silver ball to play with, and says, "I told you that was a bad idea," we cut to the prison cell on the prison transport, where we see Mayfeld, Berg, and Zian locked behind the door. Mando receives a message from Greef Karga saying that the imp client is still there and his ranks are growing. If Mando comes back to Navarro and helps them get rid of the imp client, then they'll clear Mando's name with the Bounty Hunters Guild. Sensing a trap, Mando heads to the farming world to recruit some assistance. Here we find Cara Dune in the village bar engaged in a betting ring fistfight. She wins and Mando approaches her for assistance. She declines until he informs her that the client is an imp, and then she decides that she's in. While Cara and Mando are talking in the hold of the Razor Crest, Baby Yoda starts pressing buttons on the pilot console in an attempt to turn the ship around, but Mando picks him up and hands him to Cara while he puts them back on course. They soon land to visit another old friend, Quill, the Ugnaught. Mando wants Quill to take care of Baby Yoda, but Quill has a new companion, IG-11. Quill explains how he found the destroyed IG-11 after the Mando left. He rebuilt and reprogrammed him and trained him to be a protector, not a hunter. They leave to go on the mission, and Quill insists that they also take 3 blurgs. Mando and Cara are arm wrestling, to kill time, but Baby Yoda uses the Force to almost choke her, as it looks like she's winning and hurting Mando. There's an air of tension between all in the crew, and no one trusts IG-11, but they carry on. They land on the surface and meet Greef Karga and 3 guild members. They show them Baby Yoda, which they're going to use as bait, and then they all uneasily trek off overnight towards the town. They make camp at night and are attacked by Minox. During the skirmish, Greef Karga is seriously injured, and no one has any med packs. At this point, Baby Yoda lays his hands on Greef Karga's wound. Kara goes to stop him, but Quill says wait. Baby Yoda heals Karga, and everyone is amazed. When they reach the outlook over the town the next day, Greef Karga goes ahead while the 3 bounty hunters walk behind Mando and Kara. Karga turns around and shoots the bounty hunters as they're about to ambush Kara and Mando. Karga explains that the plan was to kill Mando, but after what happened with Baby Yoda, he changed his mind. Kara wants to kill Karga anyway, but Mando decides that they will proceed with the original plan. Mando puts on handcuffs, and Kara and Karga walk him into town with the floating crib. They meet with the imp client, who wants to see the Baby Yoda. Mando undoes the handcuffs, and Karga hands him a blaster under the table, just as the imp client pauses to take a call. It's a hollow call from Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, stating that they don't have the asset that he's after, and then the Imperials open fire on the imp client's hideout. A platoon of stormtroopers is now outside, and Moff Gideon lands in his TIE fighter. Mando, Kara and Karga are trapped inside. Mando contacts Quill on a comlink to tell him to get the Baby Yoda back to the ship and get out of here, but the Mando's comlink message is intercepted by biker scouts who take off after Quill. Moff Gideon now gives them an ultimatum while Quill falls short of reaching the Razor Crest, is gunned down by the biker scouts, and they retrieve Baby Yoda. We start off with 2 biker scouts returning from their mission. One of them has Baby Yoda in a satchel. They stop at the edge of town and radio for a confirmation order to proceed. While they banter, IG-11 appears and tells them that he's a nurse droid and to hand over Baby Yoda. IG-11 shoots the biker scouts, takes Baby Yoda, steals a speeder bike and takes off. Mando, Kara and Karga are holed up in the imp hideout while Moff Gideon and his platoon bring in an E-Web heavy repeating blaster. Mando discovers a path to the sewers where they could get to the old Mandalorian's hideout, but their weapons are too weak to blast holes through it. Moff Gideon now starts naming Kara, Karga and Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and gives them until sunset to surrender or they'll be destroyed. There's a brief flashback of further backstory of when Din Djarin was rescued as a foundling by the Mandalorians. He tries to contact Quill but instead gets IG-11, informing him that Quill is dead and he is following his programming to nurse and protect. With this, IG-11 bursts into town on the speeder bike, taking out all the stormtroopers whilst protecting Baby Yoda in the pouch on his lap. IG-11 makes it to the door, but in the ensuing gun battle, Mando is injured. They drag him inside as Moff Gideon orders a flamethrower trooper to burn them out. Baby Yoda ends up using the Force to take out the flame trooper as he incinerates the hideout. Mando is convinced he's not going to make it and makes Kara take Baby Yoda into the sewer and leave him behind, as IG-11 cuts the grid to the sewer. Kara makes IG-11 promise that he'll bring the Mando, and Mando gives Kara his Mandalorian medallion to hold. IG-11 makes Mando take off his helmet so that he can attend to his head injury, and he says that he's never taken it off in front of a living being. IG-11 says he's not alive. IG-11 treats Mando and drags him down to the sewer where they all meet up again. Mando then guides them to the old Mandalorian hideout where the armourer is still there collecting the remaining armour from the Purge after Din Djarin left. The armourer gives him a jetpack and he reloads his ammo. She then gives him the sigil of the Mudhorn and tells him that he and Baby Yoda are a creed of 2 and that Baby Yoda is now a foundling and he is effectively its father. They leave via the tunnels to the lava river The armourer stays behind and takes out the remaining stormtroopers single-handedly. They obtain a boat to follow the lava river out of the tunnel system, but Mando's heat vision sees a garrison of stormtroopers waiting for them at the exit to the tunnel. IG-11 still has a self-destruct function, and he can't be captured, so he sacrifices himself for Baby Yoda and the group by walking ahead of the boat down the lava river and self-destructing at the exit, taking out the garrison of stormtroopers. Just as they think they're free, Moff Gideon's TIE fighter appears and starts strafing them. Mando uses his jetpack to get onto the TIE fighter, puts charges on the wing and flies down to land. Moff Gideon's TIE fighter crashes off in the distance. Greef Karga informs him that was a very impressive display and that he's now the #1 bounty hunter and he'll have the pick of his quarry when he returns. Kara and Karga decide to stay on Navarro and work together. Mando decides to take off with Baby Yoda, builds a memorial for Quill, and leaves orbit, while Baby Yoda has Din Djarin's Mandalorian medallion around his neck, and Mando lets him keep it. The final scene is while Jawas are scavenging the crash site of Moff Gideon's TIE fighter, a dark saber cuts through the cockpit and Moff Gideon steps out. The difference between the first Disney Plus TV show and the recent batch of Disney Star Wars movies is chalk and cheese. This show was great, engaging, and felt like Star Wars. No original series characters were killed during the making of this TV show, by the way. This is the way you respect the past and develop new stories and new characters for the future without disgracing the old ones. Even though it is paced and written similar to an episodic animation, hats off to the people involved for doing a great job with this series. Episodes 4 and 5 were the sort of low dip, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and I can't wait for Season 2, which will air in the fall of 2020 in the US. I'm happy to wait another year to get 8 great more episodes rather than rushing out some garbage to ride the wave of excitement from this season. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content, remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.